I'm providing a quick tour of Google Earth, just focusing in on those key things that I might be mentioning in the lab or relevant to the specific lab. All right, just want to close out the first startup menu. First off, if you look in the bottom right hand corner, you should see Latin long. For example, right now the latitude says 37.53 degrees, the longitude says negative 90.84 degrees. And as I move my cursor, the latitude and longitude changes. And so we can see that's right now currently in decimal degrees. Let's say I want to change that. I can go up to Tools, Options, and then I can change decimal degrees to, let's say, degrees, minutes, seconds, something that we did in Lab 1. Go ahead and hit Apply, hit OK, and now you can see as I move the cursor, now it's in degrees, minutes, seconds, and we see the N and the W included because that's now, of course, north latitude and west latitude. So that's just changing the, in this case, the lat long and how to do that. Other things to note, you can zoom in by rolling up on your mouse scroll bar. There's different ways to zoom in as well. You can also zoom in over here by moving your cursor. If you essentially by moving it on top of this plus or minus and moving, zooms in, zooms out. Of course, going closer to the positive, zooms in, zooms out closer to the negative. You can also move using that as well, or you can move by essentially using the hand tool. A lot of you are already familiar with that, so I'm not going to spend too much time. As far as orienting yourself, you can get lost if you zoom in, zoom out too much, and zoom in and all that. So what I suggest is clicking, if it takes maybe a couple attempts, click the in. Anytime you click the in on this particular compass over here, it'll get you back oriented to north being going up. Over here is what we call, I believe what they call the status bar. So this status bar I can get rid of by clicking this tab right there. What is this? The sidebar. I can hide it or I can show it by clicking that right there. The top left, this is the search bar. So for example, I could type in 0, 0, since that's our point of origin. That's a 0 latitude and 0 longitude. Hit enter, and it should take me to where the equator and the prime meridian cross each other here in the Atlantic Ocean. So that's how to find a particular latitude, particular coordinate based on latitude and longitude. You can type in any latitude or longitude, or I could type in just by searching for a particular item, in this case IUPUI. So search for IUPUI, and it takes me now to IUPUI. Hopefully we're not getting sick during this. Whoa, zooming in. And so we zoom into IUPUI. So how to use the search bar, we can use it to actually type in coordinates to find a location, or we can just type in the name of a location and it can find it as well. Other things to note, we've got the places toolbar. This will change and this will vary based on one person to the next. And so as you add stuff, the places will be added here. Your place marks will be added. Your paths, all the various things that you create will be added in this places sidebar. Over here on the bottom left, we have the layers. And so this is stuff that you can click on, click off. For example, 3D buildings. Let's click on the 3D buildings and you can see how that changed now our view. So once again, I'll take the 3D buildings off, 3D buildings on. You can see how that changes the view. And so now I can zoom in, for example, here into IUPUI, into the campus center in Cavanaugh Hall. And now I get a 3D view, 3D view of these two buildings. Kind of cool. Cool, there's our campus from kind of a drone view. Of course, we could not do that without the 3D view. So that's essentially a flat map now that we're looking at there. Once again, I want to go back north. Just click on the in, and now we're back north again. So 3D buildings, you can click that on or off. Terrain, on or off. A wide variety of various things. And so if I ask you to change something in the layers bar, that's over here. That's over here on the bottom left. Now what do we have over here on the top? We've got various key tabs. We can view something in Google Maps. Won't do that too often. We can save an image. Save an image. And so that's something we will do a few times. So save an image and various things we can do. We can add our legend. We can get rid of our legend. We can do that in map options. So for example, here I can say I don't want a title. I don't want a legend. I don't want a scale. I don't want a compass. I can change my various, styling of it. I can change scaling, all of that, save it. So then my image, boom, will then be saved there. Resolution, you can change the resolution right there as well. So save image, that's how you then save it. I'm not going to do that here. All right, other things, you can print your image, email it, you can do measurements. This is something we're going to do. We're going to make some measurements. So this is one way we can access that tool. So line, path, polygon, circle. And so just essentially, for example, for me to do a path, let's say I click on path, I go over here, click one side, click on the other, and so it made a path. And so that line I just drew is 4,283.23 feet. If I click on this drop-down menu, I can change that to centimeters. I can change that to inches. I can change that to miles. And I can also show the elevation profile. So this is kind of as you go along that path, the elevation change. And so I can kind of, as I go along, as I go along this path, you can see the river. You can see the river right there. You can see how the changes in elevation along that particular path. All right, get rid of all of that. Clear. Zoom out. Other things we can do, like I said, polygon. Polygon is just an area. So let's say I want to this particular block. It's kind of this shape here. So I just made roughly that shape. So this block right here is the perimeter is 1.55 miles. We can change it to feet. The area, it's let's do square miles. It's 0.13 square miles. How many acres is it? It is 80 acres, this particular little plot of area. So all these various things I can do with the measurement tool. Let's do circle. So zoom into this this particular circle. How big is this circle? All right, so we zoom in there. Let's do our ruler. Now I'll use our circle. Save. Okay, there's a center. We take that line to the outer edge, roughly. This ain't perfect, but whatever. And so that is that radius 49.12 feet. The area 0.17 acres. Square footage 7,000 square foot circle. So it's once again how to use various measurements. This isn't as precise as I'd probably like you to be if this was something you'd be asked to do in a lab, but just shows you more or less how to do it. Clear all of that. Let's go on to the next thing to show you. This is if we wanted to look at the sky, the Mars, moon. We won't be doing too much of that. This is pretty cool. This is where we can change to based on sunlight and sunrise and kind of the sunlight. And so obviously we're at night here in the middle of the night, 1:25 in the morning. So we can also change our particular date. So let's go to summertime. Let's go to the future, I guess. Future, or maybe in the future. So here 8:12. So here's the summertime, obviously a shorter night. So we can change for nighttime, kind of give a perspective there. Other things we can do is go ahead and zoom out just a little bit more. The next tab over, the clock, is historical imagery. So what we can do is we can look at images over time. So this is 1992. I went all the way over to the left, and then if you click the play button right here, this right above in this case 2018, click it a few times and it'll go forward. 98, 99, and so we have over time. And if you look here at the bottom, you'll see the origin. In this case, imagery date 1/1/2003. It doesn't say who this individual is or organization. In this case, it's USDA Farm Service Agency is the source of this particular aerial. We've got the Geological Survey also got involved. Farm Service Agency, another one. Indiana Map, very, very good imagery here, very clear imagery. In this case, 2005, and so on. So we look at today. The imagery date says March 3rd, 2018 for this particular image here. All right, so other things we can do besides going back in time, we can record a tour. We can do add image overlay. We can add a path. We can add a polygon or a place mark. And once again, we can hide our sidebar, or we can show it. And finally, if you look over here on the bottom right, you see the eye altitude. It says 5,709 feet. And so all that means is as I zoom in, kind of what is the level of our lens right now, or our view. So right now I'm getting closer to the surface and I zoom out. So eye altitude is just essentially the level of zoom or our altitude above the surface that our view is currently. And so that is essentially a summary of all the various Google Earth features that relate to this particular lab.